Design is what makes a custom varsity jacket look intentional and not homemade. In this video, I'm showing you from beginning to end how I use Canva and Cricut to make my varsity jacket. I'm going over the fonts, the spacing, the sizings, all the things you need to make this jacket at home. After sharing my varsity jacket in my last video, a lot of you commented and wanted to see the actual design process, so this video is for you. Let's jump into it. So in this video, we're not going to be focusing on pressing or materials. We're going to be focusing on the design workflow. So grab your laptops, grab your computer, grab your notepad, because all we're going to be doing is going behind the scenes on how I put this all together.
We're going to start in Canva. I'm designing 3 varsity jackets for my godchildren, so I'll be creating the same layout across all 3. On the right chest of the jacket, I'm placing a single letter for their name. The letters are E, A, and another A, but we do not need to duplicate the A in Canva. The font I'm using here is Senior Varsity. This is not a Canva font. I downloaded it from Creative Fabrica and uploaded it into Canva. I like this font because it's classic varsity without feeling too busy. Next, let's work on the back of the jacket. For this, I'm using Typecraft, which can be found under the apps in Canva. I'm typing the family name Smalls and using Typecraft to create an arch layout. The font I'm selecting is New Amsterdam, and Typecraft gives you a few preset options to have the warp effect. Select the one that works best for you. I'm going to choose this one. The initial intensity is not as intense as I would like it, so I click Edit Shape and use the adjustment points to fine-tune the curve. So I think I got the curve how I would like it. So now I want to increase the letter spacing between each of the letters. Once the design feels right to me, I'm going to add the design to the canvas. Looking at it again, I decided to make a few more adjustments. So I edited the shape one more time and then clicked Update Image. That locks it in. For the next section on the back, I'm adding the birth year. I created a new page and added a text box. The font here is Brush Script. Again, in Canva, the sizing doesn't matter. I'm just resizing so I can get a better feel for how the image looks. I created one version for each child of the established and the year they were born. That completes the back designs. The next design is a patch. I had a godson who passed away, and I wanted to honor him in a subtle but meaningful way on his siblings' jackets. I initially explored creating a shield, but after playing around with it for a while, I landed on doing a football instead. Using the same brush script font from the back, I added his name, his birth year, and wings to complete the patch. I ended up wanting his birth year to pop a little bit more, so I played around with a few fonts, but ultimately landed on League Spartan. Once the patch is complete, I'm going to duplicate the patch, and then I'm going to separate the football from the design on the inside. I want to download this as 2 separate images. Now to do our final design in Canva. This design is simple, it's just the name of each child. However, the one thing I had to keep in mind here was selecting a font that would cut really well in Cricut. So I stayed away from really thin fonts and tried to go as bold as possible without compromising the script style I was going for. I landed on Jitsi as the final font. That wraps everything up I'm designing in Canva. From here, I downloaded each design as a PNG with transparent background and uploaded them into Cricut Design Space. For this project, it doesn't matter whether the file is a single or multi-layer. I'll handle that part once we're in Cricut. Now let's talk about building dimension with offsets. For the letter E, I'm adding an offset so that the backing layer can be cut in a different color than the main letter. This gives the design more depth and helps the letter stand out more on the jacket. I'm using offset for the E and the A's. However, later you'll see me use contour, which is another way you can get the similar effect, but in a different way. From the first upload into Cricut Design Space, I want to get this as neat as possible, so you'll see me color code, you'll see me rename a lot of the files, just so I am able to find things easily when I need to make edits. The colors represent the different types of vinyl I'm going to use. Some match directly with the vinyl and the color that the vinyl will be, others do not. Let's talk a little bit about sizing. The jackets I'm creating are 3 different sizes. There's a 4T, a 6, and a 10. So the sizing needs to stay proportional across all 3. For the right chest placement, I'm sizing the letters 3.5 by 3.5 for the smaller jackets and 4 by 4 for the larger jacket. Let's move to the back of the jacket. This design is made up of 2 separate elements, and once everything is aligned, I'll attach them so they function as one design. Both parts of the design will be cut from the same type of vinyl, so the main thing here I'm paying attention to is just spacing. I want the space between the elements to feel uniformed across all 3 jackets, even though the sizes are different. It could get a little messy trying to follow along with me, so I'm actually going to just put all the sizes here on the screen for you. Once everything is aligned and the spacing feels consistent, I group the design and lock it in before moving on. Next is the left chest placement. For this section, I wanted to add a small message for each jacket, something meaningful but subtle. When asked, my godchildren's father said, he often says, show them who you are, you're strong, you're smart when he drops the kids off to school. So I wanted to take a play on that, and I actually came up with, be who you are meant to be bold, and be brilliant. It took a while for me to find a font that would work, but I landed on Alexis Maddox as the font for this design. Next, I resized the full phrase to fit the left chest placement on each of the jackets. Our next design is the memorial patch. Just a reminder, each element for this patch was downloaded separately from Canva. I initially tried using offset for this design, but I decided to go with contour instead. Contour allows for the full design to pop off the bottom layer of vinyl, and I'm dealing with less pieces of vinyl to cut and weed. Again, I'm using color intentionally here to separate the different vinyl types I'll be using. Once everything feels aligned and the layers are clearly defined, I lock it in, resize, and move on to the next. We're almost at the finish line. There's just 2 designs left. Next is the right sleeve. For this placement, I'm adding the birth year of each child. I wanted the numbers to be outlined rather than filled, and in Cricut Design Space, you can type a number into a text box, then click the image button, and you'll see different designs show up for you to select from. Once I found an outline style I liked, I repeated the same process for each number so that everything stayed consistent. For the sleeve design, measuring is key. I start by measuring the full length of the sleeve, then determine the size of each number and the spacing between them. The spacing varies slightly across jackets because of the different sizes. I used the grid lines on the canvas to keep my measurements consistent. Here are the measurements I used for each jacket. Once everything is spaced the way I want, I attach the numbers together so that they cut as one entire design. This keeps my spacing the same and consistent across each individual jacket. Now on to our final design. For the left sleeve, I'm adding a simple name patch. The patch itself and the names will be cut using 2 different types of vinyl, which gives the sleeve a little extra pop. For the names, I chose different fonts based off of each child. I'm using Vala for the girls and Chip Decor for the boy. Once the names are set, I align everything within the patch, double check the spacing, and lock in the design. Guess what, y'all? That completes all the design work for the jacket. Once I click the Make button, Cricut automatically separates the design onto different cutting mats based off of the colors I selected earlier in the design process. This is where the color coding really pays off. It makes it easy to confirm that each design is assigned to the correct vinyl type before getting anything printed. And I already noticed a mistake, so I'm gonna correct those really quick because that's supposed to be Eco Stretch and not on Brick 600. From here, I can adjust the placement on each mat to make better use of the vinyl. I move the pieces closer together where it makes sense, but I still leave enough room so nothing affects the cut quality or makes weeding super difficult. The goal here is simple. Use what I need and save as much vinyl as we can. Once everything looks good on the mat, I'm ready to start cutting.
If this video was helpful for you or you learned something new, give it a thumbs up, and while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. If you have an idea for what I should make next, comment below. Until next time, bye!